These people don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. Let me give you an example of something. For some reason, people in the media, and people on platforms, on digital stuff like this and streaming, have this idea that it is their duty to explain to you why Kamala lost and why Donald Trump won. It is their duty. I was watching just now until I wanted to throw up. I couldn't take it anymore. I used to really like this show called Breaking Point. It doesn't matter. With this crystal ball who is gone. I don't know what happened to this woman, but it was great. Sagar Sanjetti, whatever his name is, he's great. But this show turned into I don't know what. And of course, not that this is inside baseball. She says like every other word. It is so annoying. But in any event, they're trying to define why she lost. And they're looking at polling numbers. Let me give you an example. I'm going to use this word because it's very crude. Do you know why ship, and I'm going to change the word, why ship, as in full of ship, do you know why ship stinks? I know this is crude. You know why? Because it's ship. You want to you want to debate this? Go ahead. You want to talk about it? You want to talk about why? Is it E. coli? Is it? I know it's ship. What are you talking about? People are going. Oh my God! I stepped in it. Do you wonder why? Because they are. Because they are. Because we hate it. What are you talking about? It's horrible. Why are people scraping it off? Because they hate it. Everything about it. It does. Do you want to have a poll? Do you want people? Kamala was ship. Now, over here, not only do you say, would you like ship or a rose? Why do people like a rose? Because they do. Do you want to see polling data on this? Would you like me to review this? Everywhere we go, people are blaming now George Clooney. It's like, you didn't know this? Let's get ready, my friends. We are going to understand what is happening. Get ready for this tonight, my friends. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are a part of this magic. Make sure you are part of this. But first, my friends, this important and critical word from our important and critical sponsor. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s, and he's still kicking butt and working out and staying active. And what's even more shocking is he's stronger. He can work out longer and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. And he did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she looks and feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Now, Chuck made a special video that explains everything. And make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Lionel or by clicking in the link below this video. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Lionel. And click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. You won't believe how simple it is. And just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old and yet has more energy than people over half his age. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply by focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. Watch his method by clicking the link in the description below, chuckdefense.com/Lionel. This is This is something that you're not going to ever see again. This is something that you're not going to see. This is something that is the point that is being missed. The point that is being missed. The analysis is wasting our time. We have to look at what the president is doing, and we have to turn around and say, you go ahead and you analyze this until the cows come home. It's over. Freedom, that's just some people talking. Freedom says, when you go out to sea, liberals with no paddles, you sink like a rock. Trump had in the bag from the get-go. You are the man, Lionel. Love your show. Freedom, thank you, sir. I think it's sir. I don't know. I do not know. But thank you. We have to stop this waste of time. It's fun. I like looking at some funny stuff. I really do. Women shaving their head. Go ahead. How many people are shaving their head? Nobody's shaving their head. 2 people. They're online and people think everybody's shaving their head. They're not shaving their head. People are not shaving their head. Somebody is. This one's screaming. Ah! Who's screaming? One person, 2 people. They're online. Do you know anybody? I know one person who said one time, I have a problem. I'm still depressed. Shut up! But they pretended to pull this bullshit about how I can't take this of the election. But I don't know anybody who's cutting their head. Do you? Or shoving their head? Do you? No. Do you know anybody who gives a rat's arse about what Mika Brzezinski says? No. Or The View? Let us all raise your right hand and say, from now on, that's enough with The View. That's enough. That's enough. It's enough. It's enough with The View. It's enough with The View. No more View. I'm not going to talk about The View. I'm not going to put any more View. I'm not, unless somebody sets themselves on fire or something. I might want to, sure, but that may violate some rule. I'm not going to. I don't care about The View. I don't care about it. Why is everybody talking about The View? Who cares about The View? There's a wonderful show. It's really good. It's on Sky. Liberals losing it. You know what I mean? It's very good. There's this wonderful lady. Her name is Rita Panahi, and she's wonderful. She's on the Sky News. She's just absolutely terrific. She has her quote. She says, "The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is." Winston Churchill. And she does a show called Liberals Losing, Lefties Losing It. And it's wonderful. And it's cute. I kind of laugh at it. And she does it tongue in cheek. But that's it. And we do it because we laugh. And it's really important to see big time people go on TV because they live in a world that's constantly changing. How can I be sure? Today, here in the New York area, iHeartRadio, Bob Pittman, there's a bloodbath. People have been cut left and right. This thing called radio. Maybe the podcasts are different. And people are analyzing this. Well, what do you think about this? And there's this group. I haven't seen this in the longest time ever. There's a group of folks who do like a little radio message board, and they're all talking because they're all experts. And they listen to AM radio. Well, the signal, I noticed that Dave Gillespie was moved from the Africa. I said, what century are you in? And the format of this is from 1980s. Like it's an anachronism. These old bulletin board styles from the 70s. So anyway, they're talking about this. The WOR morning show, Morning Drive, New York Radio, WOR, gone. I think they're running a dial tone or maybe who knows? I have no idea. White noise, I have no idea. But it's big in the radio business. So all my friends are saying, did you hear what happened? They blew out the morning show of OR. I said, it's radio. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, Soros is buying these radio stations. Okay. It's so bad that they had to go to Congress to demand that AM radio is in cars. What? Why do we why do we have CD players in cars? I mean, what do? Okay, so I'm giving this as an example. This is an example. The times have changed. This is radio. This is a different world. It's a different time. It's just different. Talking's the same. We're talking. Joe Rogan's talking. Theo Vaughn's talking. Go through Lex Friedman. Go through the list. This is your dad's radio. 8 after the hour, everybody. Coming up right now. Do you have tinnitus? Hi, this is called Lumi. And I've got restless leg and brain tumors and news, sports, and weather. And there's a problem on the Gowanus. And it's like listening to a time machine. It's like listening to a world where you stop. You can't say this. You can't say this. You can't say this. You've got sponsors. You stop. And then somebody comes in and you do some commercial for some Lincoln Mercury. And it's good. And that's fine. But they're scratching their heads here and wonder why. And not only that, to be honest with you, from what little I heard, this show sucked. It wasn't interesting. Who's listening to this crap? There's no money there. Okay, fine. Now, why do I bring this up? To explain how things are changing. And you can fight this. What they're saying is, well, I listen to radio, and I don't care whether you listen to radio. Well, I love WOR. WOR has been 100 years. I don't care. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I don't want to see people lose their job. It's over. You're going to see more and more and more and more. The next is going to be CNN. You're going to see that blown off. You're going to see them consolidated. You're going to be cutting. You're going to see already. They're not going to be doing a pay. Some people have not had a raise or whatever. They're going to cut these groups down, and or people are going to be working for nothing. You would not believe the number of people who are working for either next to nothing. Because whatever, it's just a changing time. Okay, let's move this subject over here. Okay, do you understand what's happening? Do you understand what's happening? That's an example of how things change. And we can talk all day long about how we like radio, what we think about radio, how radio was important to us, how we used to have a transistor under our pillow, how we remember Murray the K and Cousin Brucey. And great, wonderful. You want to talk about what? Disco next? Let's talk about disco. I love disco. Mrs. Elba told me there's a place not too far from us where they would go, what? You would go disco roller skating. They don't have that anymore. You want to talk about that? Go ahead. You want to talk about Studio 54? It's right over there. It's right down the street. The original Studio 54. You want to talk about that? Go ahead. It's not there anymore. The building's there, but it's not there anymore. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about how people love it and how it's really important. It's on oldies. It's oldies. Sideburn says, thanks, Uncle Lenny. Saxon Ashcroft on the runway. Indeed. We are losing any and all analytic skills. I swear to God, we're confusing nostalgia or impression with what the reality is. This is realism. Okay. So let's do this. Back to this story, next topic, as an example. This show I used to really like, this Breaking Points, with this crystal ball. And I'm like, so, by the way, she sits at an angle. I don't know why she sits like, maybe her neck is hurt or something, but she always looks like this. It's like, what are you looking for? What is this? It's my Loretta Young look. Okay, fine. All right, terrific. And I'm so Donald Trump, the Arnold Palmer joke, that was so, stop it. Okay, stop. You don't get it. You're arguing because you don't like the fact that Donald Trump won. You don't like the fact that people don't that nobody likes Kamala. She was an idiot. And what this dingbat was saying was, well, I heard her talk about, she had Liz Cheney. She wasn't talking about trans. It's like, you were more stupid than I even thought you were. You don't even get it. You're doing a TV a political show, and you actually think Liz Cheney is this is what we're dealing with today. Now let me set this straight for you for the umpteenth time, and we're not going to talk about it. Here's what we've done. We are at a war with a group of people that are trying to kill us. Okay. Now, but what they don't know is we gave them blanks. In the middle of the night, I went over to their armory and I replaced all of their ammunition with blanks. So they're going to still be there and they're going to be shooting at us, but it means nothing. There's nothing in the gun. They're going to be complaining on Morning Joe. They're going to be complaining on CNN. They're going to be complaining on Breaking with Crystal Ball, and they're going to and they're going to be, and they're going to be this, and they're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff, and it's as though they think they can change what happened by virtue of telling you. I heard others say Donald Trump is the most divisive candidate who actually made a reference to Arnold Palmer's Schwanz, and they love him. Do you think we've got it wrong? Yes, I do. Because if you saw the world from my point of view, you would know that, no, you've got it wrong. Donald Trump they love him. We're looking at some of the numbers in Jersey, Mrs. L and I. By the way, men, remember this. Young men, listen to me. Marry somebody who's brilliant. You will be so happy in real life. You'll be so happy. You have no idea. When you've got somebody you can turn to who is as smart, if not smarter than you, when in so many areas, she says things like, write that down, write that down, write that down. She notices it, you notice it, write that down, write that down. I mean it. I mean it. I'm not just saying it. We're looking at the numbers in Jersey. Oh my God. What Trump did was just incredible. And this dingbat over here, doesn't understand it. Let me give another example. I'm moving. Next. Okay. I love a guy by the name of Rick Beato. Rick Beato does this great, it's just wonderful. Interviews people. It's the best guitar players. So one day he was saying, and he's a great musician and he knows his stuff. He says, here's what makes this a great song. Tears for Fears, a Tipping Point, or whatever it is. By the way, Tipping Point, I think I listen to more than any song. I don't know why. Anyway, Tipping Point. What is this? It's a C sharp 7, sus4. It's a sus4. Let's say over 6. Okay, B minor 7, B minor 7 to A flat, major 7, or pentatonic. I want to say Dick. I call him Dick. Dick Beato. Dick. We don't know what you're talking about. We like Katie Lied, or we like Asia. We love Steely Dan. And we don't know because if it's A sharp 7 of it, it doesn't matter. You're hitting with us, but that's not why we like it. And his son, I think he has one son who is pitch perfect. He sits there and he just hits the piano. The kid turns his back. His name is Dylan, I think it's Dylan. Anyway, turns his back, can't see what he's playing. He hits all these notes, and the kid will say, E flat 7, sustain 4, over 6 with a pentatonic and a bifusional and a capsa DF. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. This kid's, I think he's right. Might be a rib. It might be just making it up. I don't think so. My joke I love to do is, if you're at Rick Beato's house, and if all of a sudden you hear this, I said, Rick, what's that? I said, E sharp 7. No, not that. There's somebody screaming. Oh, okay. Anyway. Rick Beato doesn't understand that you might love the Beatles because you love the Beatles. When the person who steps in ship, and somebody says, Oh my God, what's that smell? Yes, and do you know why the smell is? You see, this is mostly a carnivore, and that's the sulfur element that you're picking up on. Not only that, there's a certain biofact. I'm not asking you to tell me why. It's ship. I stepped in it. What are you telling me? Freedom says, I can't wait to see the fruitcakes on the View turn on each other on live TV over Trump insanity. Hopefully it would be their final straw. Well, you know what? We're not going to have it here unless, like I said, unless there's somebody who does the monk routine by self-immolation. I'm done with it. I don't care anymore. Let them eat because they have blanks. They're just shooting each other and sunny hoss. I don't care anymore. Okay. So, chapter 1 of tonight's show is you don't get it. You can talk about this until you're blue in the face. I've told you. Remember when I told you Trump's going to win? And what was the story? What did I tell you? What was the issue that I swear to God? I said, what is the issue that people find the most terrifying? Is it inflation? No. Inflation has been with us our whole life. I'm 66 years old. My entire life, I've heard in every election, somebody talk about inflation or deflation or stagflation, but I've heard inflation my whole life. I mean, here we go with inflation again. Okay. Here we go. Or the recession, or maybe a deflation, but we've heard this. What I have not heard my whole life is men walking around locker rooms nude, okay, competing in sports with girls. Let me say this again. Not trans women, trans men. You could put a wig on. You can what? I don't care if you're on the street. You can do your name can be Ramona Rivera for I don't care. But when you are competing, testosterone, muscle mass, BMI, muscle insertion, strength, you're a man. Stop this nonsense. And this idiot on CNN who gets upset, I don't care who you are. This is the issue I told you. So today, as I was watching before, Sagar, is that his name? I haven't watched the show in a while. I used to really like it, but I just can't. I don't know why she went so dingbatty. I don't get it. I think it's part of that, whatever. Sagar and Jetty. There you go. He was saying, well, we have this data right here, and it shows that in undecided, believe it or not, this trans business has really made a difference because of such and such, and the trans have made a big difference between the such and the trans, which is what I was telling you. Now, as an example, and this is not a critique on a show you've never watched and never will, but it's an example. It shows you people don't like that. They'll say, but she talked about something else. She didn't talk about anything. She's an idiot. Okay? You want to do a postmortem? She's an idiot, and he was great. So imagine this. Imagine this. On one side of the table, you have ship from a dog. On the other side, you have, as somebody mentioned today, how about a beautiful mutton chop for all you carnivores? If you're ever in New York, you got to go to Keen's. A mutton chop is like something you've never, ever. It's on another planet. Cream spinach. Oh, beautiful, right? Shrimp cocktail. Classic New York steakhouse fare. On one side of the table is that. On the other side is dog ship. Now, guess which one people are going to pick? You want to discuss it? Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to take polls? You want to talk about Now, something's happening right now. You are going to be seeing a revolution. And not everybody watches this stupid View or any of these shows. They don't watch them. And one of the things that they're trying to do is inch in and leach into the world of, your perspective by watching what goes on the streaming platform, and then to confuse it too. Let me give you an example. My dear friend Eric Nagel does a great podcast. And he said a very good point. He said when Kamala was on Howard Stern, nobody listens because nobody listens to Howard Stern on Sirius XM. Who listens to the crap? Not that it matters. Doesn't matter. There are some things I've never seen. I never listened to him on radio. Never. I'm not a radio person. Never. I've never heard the Rush Limbaugh show throughout the show. I've heard it. I used to hear it but I never tuned in. Never. When the Opie and Anthony show, I never listened to him. I didn't know who was Opie and who was Anthony. I had no idea. I never listened to it. I used to listen to Alex Jones. That one I listened to from top to bottom. David Knight I love that kind of stuff. Maybe now it's streaming. Okay. So what Eric Nagel brought up was that when Kamala was on Howard Stern, nobody listened to her on Sirius XM. You know where they heard her? On YouTube, when they spliced and took edits out of that. That's when you hear it. Do you hear what I just said? You take this guy who makes $1 gazillion a year, still in some deal that was made years ago. Okay. They're buying him out of his contract. Okay, fine. You got that. And where are people hearing it? They put it on YouTube or whatever, the TikTok or whatever it is. Do you see what's going on? Now, we can argue all we want about this. That is the reality of what's happening. Next, you have to know what to look for. You have to know, like when you're on, I remember hearing these great stories when American, by the way, today is Veterans Day. My goal is to make veterans unnecessary. No more wars. I'm not going to send anybody out. So then when they come back limping or missing an arm, I can go like this and thank you very much and pretend to honor them, with a mattress sale once a year or whatever it is. Okay. There was an interesting story here. You have to know what to look for. And I was mentioning in Vietnam, people would sometimes go and they would say, hey, remember one time they said, this woman, there's a lot of rice here. Yeah. She's feeding the NVA. She's feeding the VC. She's feeding them. It's her own country because she feed whatever she wants. But the point is, people would look and see things like, oh, there's more rice. Oh, this fire is too big for 2 people. She's helping out or whatever it was. So you have to kind of look what's going on. Here's what Mrs. L said tonight. 2 things. Number 1, Target, which was the most BLM post DEI, whatever this George Floyd stuff was. And we wrote Target off. You can forget it. Now they're coming back with Christmas. Target, Christmas. Target, yep, Christmas. You're going to love this one. Interesting. Isn't that something? Yes, it's interesting. It's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. It goes to show you that people are coming back. And this is something that a crystal won't be able to pick, or whoever the hell it is, doesn't matter. They won't pick up on this. You're seeing this. Very sad to say, I heard Mrs. L told me that in front of Saks, they're not going to be doing the lighting this year, the Christmas lights. Very, very important. Because Christmas in New York is because of that. That is so ill-advised. Christmas. This is a very Saks Fifth Avenue Light Show canceled as store uh, takes new approach to beloved holiday tradition. That is the most stupid thing. This is a tradition has come to an end in the store's 100th year. Saks Fifth Avenue, right across from Rockefeller Center, where the tree is, but Saks, it was this tradition, and you'd walk over. Okay, that is going to be a stupid thing. Okay, so we got tradition coming back. Target saying Merry Christmas. Saks saying no. And the third one, which is kind of sort of related, but not really. Michael Strahan decides in a particular ceremony not to put his hands over his heart, but to hold his hands in front of him because he's being a dick. Okay? And there he goes. This I don't know what to say. Jay Glazer quickly came to the defense of fellow NFL Michael Strahan, who was drawn scrutiny for standing with his hands folded in front of him as opposed to his hand over his heart. You want to do that? That's fine. Go ahead. But see, we're not going to spend too much time on this. But what we're doing is there's a battle going on, and there's a battle to see who's going to win, who's fighting this. This is a cultural battle. With Trump winning, I'm telling you, you're going to be seeing more and more of this stuff being crushed. Next, the various folks coming into play. Wonderful. It is wonderful that Stephen Miller is there. Homan, Elise Stefanik. That's okay. Whatever. Nobody has my impression. Thank God they got rid of Pompeo and then Nikki Haley. Other people. This is very interesting. I'm hearing another thing too. You know who is coming back? Coming back with a vengeance. A vengeance. Melania. Two things are happening. Susie Wiles is meeting with Melania. Melania is so pissed off. She talks about canceling, I think, her son's bank account. She is so furious at people. And she said she's not going to meet with Jill. You heard that? And also, this is great. This wonderful Susie Wiles, who was terrific. She is telling people Susie Wiles is the gatekeeper. And she's basically saying anybody who wants to be president, we're not going to talk to them. Melania T with Jill. Melania is saying, blow it out your ass. Melania expected to skip the White House meeting with Jill. Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. Tomorrow also is going to be back to court with I think tomorrow was Judge Mershon. That's a real complicated case. What's going to happen with that one? That's really tough. Very, very tough. This is the 34 count case and nobody can understand. Most probably what he's going to be doing is Trump will not spend a day, a moment, a second in jail, prison ever. It'll just be held in abeyance or it'll be put off indefinitely. There's going to be the immunity appealed and that's going to sustain. It's going to be held in abeyance. Who the hell knows what that? He has absolutely won. He has won this. Now let me stop right now and remind you of a couple of things here. First and foremost. Number one, I've told you, Christmas is next month. Christmas. Everything is flying by. Tempest Fugit, baby. Tempest Fugit. One of the best things you can do, stocking stuffers for dad or grad, and yes, Mama makes julienne fries, is MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. Just spend 5 seconds there and you'll think, oh my God. And you'll be helping one of the greatest Americans ever, Mr. Mike Lindell, who put his life and his livelihood on the line merely by daring to say that he supported President Trump. You understand that? You understand what I'm saying? Good. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. And another one. Preparewithlionel.com. It's emergency food. It's true. 2,000 calories a day, 25-year shelf life. Yeah. We know all about that. That's great stuff. It's wonderful. But there are things that are also important. Veterans Day specials, water purifiers. It's one of the most unbelievable. They have water pouches. How about 100-hour candles? 100-hour candles. They look like a grenade. I love these things. Chlorine dioxide water treatment tablets. Survival items, solar power generators, Christmas sale, heirloom seals, deals of the day. The deals of the day are incredible. It's just, it is a, with all due respect to these other wonderful places, because you go and you go, oh, look, they got MREs. This is like a Bugatti compared to a Rambler. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm telling you, you will be astounded at what they have. They are simply the best. Preparewithlionel.com. Now, I'm going to, excuse me. I am so taken by what is happening. So taken. Spandex says, viewed a meltdown on TikTok where a bedpan Biden supporter attacked Trump voters because they are poor, broke losers who could not afford food or gas. That's interesting. You're always going to see people like that. You're always going to see that. Fishman, by the way, says, bro, literally, you missed my super chat. Uh-oh. Bruh. Literally, hang on a minute. Let me get to the bottom of this. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. By God. There we go. Fishman says, what does the freak show of Jamie Raskin and Democrats trying to not certify Trump really look like if they try it? We will see what happens. We will see what happens. Let me explain to you what we're going to do. And this is important. Number one of the best things I've ever seen, I want you to listen to me, is seen by our good friend, Tucker Carlson. Let me tell you what Tucker Carlson is doing. Okay? One thing he's doing, which is the most incredible to me, he and Vivek Ramaswamy were talking, and they'll say something like, this discrepancy or this mystery of the votes that were in 2020 that somehow have dematerialized. They're not here anymore. How'd that happen? He brings it to people's attention, and it goes into crosses the blood-brain barrier, and a lot of us pick up on it. Now, meanwhile, CNN's talking about, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I have no idea. And The View is talking about something, but we're talking about this. Wait a minute. So to answer your question, sir, others will bring this up. Trump will address it. And you, by virtue of the same people that got him elected, are going to say, hey, we did not know that. They are talking now for the first time with that horrible Elizabeth Vargas on that show where Bobby Kennedy just handed her ass to her. Here. When this dingbat thought, I've got to defend Big Pharma, when Bobby Kennedy said, I've got no problem. You don't understand my position on vaccines. I'm not anti-vaxxer. I want them tested. And what did they have on Facebook? Anti-vaxxer. Because idiots are running the show there. And that's why they get these retreads, who I guess have the island of misfit toys, to miss the point completely. We are saying we reject this 100%. So they put this out. It goes in the mainstream, and everybody now loves Bobby Kennedy, loves him. This stupid RFD kind of Mayberry hootenanny show, they miss the point completely. Along with people like Fredo Cuomo, who doesn't know what the hell he wants to be. He's trying to land somewhere. Do I have a job? Do I remember when he floated that fake rumor he was going to CNN? Anyway, those people are over there. Next, they're talking about Building 7. I thought to myself, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Vivek, Tucker, Roger Stone, everybody else is talking about Building 7. We have been talking about Building 7, WTC 7, since 23 years ago. I almost wept. This has now gone into the... If Jack Dorsey was here, or one of those other numbnuts, you would never hear it, because they don't want you to. You would never hear anything about Bobby Kennedy. You would never hear anything about vaccine safety. You would never hear anything about this. They're talking about things I can't believe they're even discussing. It's a new world. They don't understand it. These people in these other news shows, which we don't care about, are arguing about whether the word trans woman or man. It doesn't matter. We have won this. This is a revolution. This is something that we're not going to be able to feel for a long time. He is going to pick people, and he also is going to get away from that White House. You do not have to be in Washington. Start connecting people with the idea that Washington is evil. Get away from it. Set up it's safer in Mar-a-Lago. Better climate if you like that. You can do golf or whatever you want to do. It's that simple. I know that Melania wants to be away from that. So does Barron. Barron's in New York or whatever it is. I can't see Barron going to school. He's going to remote learn, have tutors. You don't want him to be walking around NYU. Come on. Stop it. Plus, you'll learn better this way. Everything's changing. They're going to send agriculture. He wants to get rid of the Department of Education. You understand this? They don't know what to do. Already, Xi Jinping is talking. Hamas, theoretically. Bibi doesn't know what the hell is going on with this thing. Has no idea. Johnny Maz, by the way, there's Johnny Maz. Johnny Maz says, Stefanik already planning her Israel visit. Listen, you can't have everything. I have no problem with the people of Israel. No problem with that. Citizens. And I got no problem with the people of Gaza either. I've got no problem with Palestinians. I'm this old-fashioned guy who believes in let people live. But this nonsense, this has got to go. But she's going to go there and she's going to scream, it's anti-Semitic. Okay. We know where that comes from. Veronica says, Lionel, you said not long ago that you don't trust Melania. Would you expound on that? No. I don't trust her. Well, I'll tell you what I've always felt. Number one, I never thought she was in on it. Meaning, by virtue of personal stuff, what she's been through, the rough and tumble, she has been treated like garbage. Never once even, not that it matters, but not Vogue, put that Jill thing on there. Come on, stop it. And I always thought that her duty, first and foremost, was to her son. That's it. They treated her like garbage. And she could have done a lot more the first time when he ran. More. She didn't do anything this time. People love her. She didn't do enough. I hope that changes. So, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the story is. I can't tell personally. Are they? Yeah, it's none of my business. That's a personal thing. But I don't see a lot of warmth there. I just, you know what I mean? And maybe it's for reasons because of all this other extracurricular stuff. I don't know. That's the personal part of it. It's always because there were other that happened elsewhere. I think maybe she might be coming around. I think the fact that she's not meeting with Jill is terrific. And I think maybe, I hope, let me say rather than think, I hope that the assassination attempt and how brutal these people are, and I hope it conjures up some memories of her own involvement, her own experience with communist countries and this brutality. But going back to what I said, she could have done so much more. Look, he won by a landslide, so I guess he didn't need her. But she didn't do that much. She was, she sheets you up a couple of times a wave, and that's all right. All right. So trusting. When I say don't trust somebody, trust but verify. Keep an eye on J.D. Vance. Let me ask you a question. Elise Stefanik, if I say, Elise, you got a situation. The United States versus Israel. Who are you going to stay with? Let's say there's a deal. There's something where you're being asked, or you're going to be with the UN, but you're being asked your opinion on giving another $10 billion of 2,000-pound bombs to kill and destroy Palestinians versus keeping the money here and getting us out of this mess. How do I know you're going to do the right thing? Your job is to get us out of the UN. Your job is to destroy the UN. Your job is not to sit around and be like that. Remember who was it, the Bidens? Remember the one, we don't even know her name. Some of the great ones. Daniel Patrick Moynihan was great. Nikki Haley sort of had her moments. I don't know. But I don't know if Elise, if she's in it. She's kind of been like a one-trick pony. But look, I mean, give him a shot. Here's what you need to do. Let me explain to you one thing which is important. What's wrong with the UN? Number one, the enemy of this country has always been globalism. What is globalism? Globalism is the surrounding of the United States and the suffocation of us, the cutting off of our blood stream, our circulatory system, kind of like a reverse angiogenesis by this thing called globalism. They want to come in, pass some UN resolution that says that gun safety around the world is a medical emergency, and that the United States, more than anyone else, is involved in perpetuating such and such. Okay? All right. So they will pass a law that says that we must somehow remove from the confines of this, but remove our Second Amendment, get rid of our guns. And one of these rat bastards up till now would have said, okay, that's a great idea because, we're part of the UN. No, nonsense. No, wait. I want Elise Stefanik to say, pound sand, we don't listen to you. Number two, I have a very difficult time with this. And as much as I think what's going on in Israel is horrible regarding Palestinians and Gazans and the West Bank, I'm very, very suspect of ICC, Criminal Court, and Court of Justice, ICC and ICJ. Yeah. First of all, for the world, they can't really do a lot, but for the world to have a world court, I don't care. It just so happens now you can't say, well, I'll take it if Israel is the subject matter. No. I got a real problem with that. They have been trying to neutralize us through global. We want to have unions. One of the things I think it was one of the Bilderbergs when they came up with the EU. We want unions. We want to have you lose. I can't believe Europe did this. Let's take all of this wonderful place, Europe, with different cultures and monetary systems, languages, everything, and let's put it into the EU. So we have the euro. And the great Lou Dobbs would talk about how he was suggesting there was going to be the Amero, the North American Union. Globalism is a very dangerous thing. And I want to make sure that Elise goes there. She understands your job is to absolutely stand up for America and tell these people to pound it and shove it if they ever suggest for a moment that we are to relinquish or abnegate or abrogate any power or ability that we have. Tom Homan, bless his heart. Bless his heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson has the following to say. Hi, Uncle Lenny. What do you think about Rick Grinnell? Uh, I think I haven't heard bad things. I cannot say that I'm that verse on his I guess he's okay. I think it's very interesting that we have this Grinnell worked for Mitt Romney as a spokesperson on foreign policy. The first openly gay person. That's nice. Former acting director of the National Intelligence. Let me ask you something. What is going to be the role of us in regarding vis-a-vis CIA? What do you want? What is the role of the CIA? Do you believe in the CIA? Should we have one? How many of you fine folks would like to have the CIA disbanded? Anybody? Anybody? Huh? Anybody? No. No. Here we go. Luke Malafarina says me. Luke, you want to disband the CIA? Is that it? Yeah. Are you against intelligence agencies? Is that what you're saying? Anybody? Anybody? Now answer this question now. Many of you people will say this and you won't follow it up. You just want to shut down the CIA, close it down. What about the NSA? What about DNI? What about military intelligence as well? Look at this. Last Stitch says the CIA needs disbanded. So you do not want to have an intelligence agency? Is that what you're saying? Spandex said, could not figure out 9/11. You did you really write that? Did you really write that? They couldn't figure it out? They couldn't figure it out? You're saying they didn't know how to figure it out? Is that what you're saying? Are you telling me they didn't know? They're saying, I don't know why. Can't figure this thing out. Is that what you're saying? They couldn't figure this out? They didn't know what was going on? Are you kidding me? I love this one. This is my favorite. Spandex says, beforehand. They couldn't figure this out beforehand? Wait a minute. What are you suggesting, that this was a surprise attack? Is that what you're saying? They couldn't figure it out? You're saying this was an oops? It's not a lie hop, my hop? What are you saying? I love this one. Ugly truth. Transparency from all agencies. What the hell does that mean? Transparency from all agencies. What does that mean? What is this? The bumper sticker right here? This is crazy. One of you were saying, well, they was disbanded. What do you mean? Well, I don't know about 9/11. They didn't know this? They knew it. Well, transparency. You want transparency? What does that mean? I don't know. It's an expression I use. Mel says CIA is like KGB. Even if they're gone, they're never really gone. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Spandex says, I was told it was an oops. They dropped the ball. Oh my God. Okay, Spandex, go over there. Somebody talk to him or her. Dear God. Jackie Johnson, the CIA and Hollywood are in bed together. You don't say. Excuse me, Jack. Now, I love you. Hollywood is the CIA. CIA is Hollywood. Do you remember the original when the CIA actually funded art and music and Walt Disney? And do you remember when musea were there. This is well, here we go. Operation Paperclip. Oh, Jesus God. Here we go with this. Now we're gonna so now when you say Operation I like this. Amy Lynn says, yes, thank you, Lionel. What? Like Amy should be Amy should be should go into other sides and just do things like, you're absolutely right about that. I think it's 7. Thank you. What? Anyway, look, do we need to start off with the beginning of this. And as much as I love you, and I love you so much, I love you all, there's an innocence here that's really something. It's like it's a real, like you believe in the official story of who these people are and what they do. And like my favorite is, you think maybe President Trump will release the files of the JFK? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you understand this? This is the most, I like Dave says, 9/11 gravity is not proper acceleration. Okay, thank you. We're just gonna sit around here. I'm gonna write about gravity. Why? I don't know. I'm gonna write something in there. Dave, what are you writing? I don't know what I'm writing. It's complete bullshit, but I'm writing it in because it's chat. I like this. Dave, what does that mean? I don't know what it means. I'm writing this in here. Look. Let me start off with this. Number one, you're going to work with me, okay? I'm the president, and I'm going to bring you in. Let's say I bring in, or I bring in Sean, or maybe whoever it is. And I bring you in, and I want you to sit down. I bring in Amy Lynch. Okay, there's Amy Lynch. Amy, sit down. Thank you. Amy, give me a hypothetical. You have, I'm going to put you in CIA, and you have information that proves that the United States government, we were behind the USS Liberty, not Israel. Got it right now. Hypothetically. Should you release this to the world and tell people what we did? Yes or no? Anybody? Would you do this? Anybody? Howie Brown says, you notice shoplifting slowed down. You know, you're right about that. You're right about that. Do you want me to reveal who killed? And we know who killed Ken. I mean, come on. There's no. Do you really think that people are saying, I wonder who killed that guy? He's a nerd. I don't know who these people were. Who was this Ruby guy? Anybody know him? I don't know who he is. Any of you guys know who he is? No, nobody knows who he is. I wonder who did it. Do you really, honest to God, think? Do you, if I told you, if I said, listen, we have a feeling that regarding, let's say, UFOs and the like, it's most probably, let's say X or whatever it is. Do you really, honestly, truthfully, seriously, honestly think we're going to reveal information as to, we're going to say, well, it's here. They landed here and they landed here. And this is the information. And by the way, we have their bodies. Still, we have their equipment. In fact, we retro engineered their equipment, and we have. Would you like to see pictures of them? And here they are. Here's the actual. We actually did an autopsy. And do you really think would you honestly want that to be released? Would you honestly want that to be released? While you think of that answer, listen to this, especially if you've got somebody in your family who is up to their neck in debt and they don't know what to do. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Just now I was typing some things just to feel what it's like to say little glyphs and little orts of ideas that have don't mean anything. Number one, stop saying you want truth. That is the most nonsense. You don't want truth. I don't want truth. Truth means I'm going to give up secrets? No. You're not going to work in my administration. You understand this? No. You want to embarrass this country? You want to embarrass this country? Do you want people to have more information, more seriously? I want to stop bad things, but if you come across something which is embarrassing to us, something that we did, another Tuskegee, do you want that to be released? Yes. No, not going to work with me. No, we're not going to do that. Sorry. I'm not going to give ammunition to other countries. Sorry. I'll take care of that internally. What do you think? I want transparency. I don't want transparency. What does it mean, transparency? What, from these people? You work for the government now? Do you think you're going to come? You think you're going to work for my administration and you're going to what? Start revealing everything? Is that what you're going to do? Hey, guess what? We got the vaccines. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm telling people the truth. Do you really think Bobby Kennedy is going to come in there and pull the lid off? Now, if it can be done to basically swat the prior administration, that's fine. But if all of a sudden there was some massive big pharma sell-off and somebody told you, you do this now and you're going to feel the repercussions of this at levels you never even thought possible, you're going to do that? Do you think so? Do you believe, let me ask you this question. Do you believe, and I say this again, do you believe that Bitcoin, what's it now, 85,000? Do you believe that's safe? I hope so. Do you believe so? Do you understand how this thing works? This is the thing which is important. Do you really grasp the idea of what's going on? If we tell people what happened about certain things, 9/11, 9 this, especially when I can use the information to leverage it in our favor, do you think so? Do you think what's going on now? Look at this. Truth and reconciliation worked for Mandela and the killing fields. What are you talking about? They're still dead, and he was locked up for what, 30 years? Truth what? What do you mean? Truth? He was telling the truth. They didn't let him out. And the killing fields? A little late with that. Pol Pot? What are you talking about? Gina says something. Gina shows a degree of wisdom here. Like Gina says, there is a level of what is confidential and a national secret, all in the name of national security. Sorry, Mr. L. I do not agree with you on that. There is a level of what is confidential and a national secret, all in the name of national security. Okay. Well, as long as you're able to tell me the truth, you let me know. Do you think we're better off if when the world's, I'm not saying don't fix stuff, don't address things, But why do we have to air our dirty laundry? Why? Why do we do that? Who does that? You think France does that? You think China does that? You think Xi Jinping does that? No. See, I don't want another Ellsberg. By the way, Ellsberg was a limited hangout. I don't want another Pentagon Papers. Do you? Do you want that? See, I'm the idea. If you think you're going to come and work for my administration by telling people what's going on, oh no, 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 You're going to start telling. You're going to tell people about JFK? No. What if we have a deal with other countries? I got a deal. We're covering. Oh, and by the way, Operation Paperclip. Let me ask you a question. It's the end of World War II. All these Nazis, some are there. Nazis are either you can lock them up, or some are going to go to Russia, or some are going to go to us. You got Werner von Braun. He can go to Russia, or he can go to us. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Who was the beneficiary of that after World War II? Who? Who do you think? It gets tough sometimes. The same thing when you make a deal with Sammy the Bull, if you believe this story. What is it? Kill 19 people or whatever it was. What do you think? You see, you think everything is very easy. Truth or false? Black or white? Good or evil? That's what you think. Expose it. Tell people the light of day. What? What if our agents are revealed? Well, it's a different story. You got to be very, very careful. This idea of I want to go work for the government so I can expose everything. No, 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 no. Now, we have to figure things out. If I said to somebody, now listen, I'll make a deal with you. Either we get a hold of, put it this way. Let me ask you something. Do you believe, would you like to see Fauci in prison? This will answer my question with you. Do you want to see Fauci in prison? Mayorkas in prison? Do you want to see this? Anybody? I know you do. You want to see Fauci in prison, all right? You want to see Fauci, Mayorkas. You want to see him in prison. Fauci, right? You want to see Fauci. Okay. You think Fauci did this on his own? You think Fauci did Fauci on his own say, hey, I'm going to do this? You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Oh, here's my favorite one. There's Veronica. Yes, and Gates too. What do you want to put Gates in prison for? What did Gates do that was against the law? What did he do? Gates will tell you, do you know what I did? Do you know what I did? I can't tell you what I did. He's like a double agent or whatever it is. You know, this idea that we love this Manichaean, you're good, you're evil, no. Most people, they're all bad. It's like, you don't like Elise Stefanik? Okay, sure, good. You don't like her for this, but I like her for this. Okay, fine. Pompeo's no good because of different reasons. John Bolton, get rid of him. Some people we can get rid of because they'll go in and they'll try to subvert things. But this idea that there's this black and white, good guy, bad guys, white hats, black hats, no. It is so strange. Do you really, let me ask you something. Do you trust J.D. Vance? Yes or no? You trust him? I don't. I'm not going to work for him. Don't turn your back on him. Oh, no. If somebody comes to him, that's the first guy I'd hit with a palace coup, 25th Amendment. That's the guy. You notice anything, JD? Well, come and think of it. Yeah. You don't know J.D. Vance from anything. You don't know him at all. You like him. He was on Joe Rogan. Okay. Like his wife. He was great against Tampon Timmy. Do you know him? You believe all this stuff about the hillbilly? Well, okay, fine. You trust him? That's the guy I keep my eye on because he's the one who is directly able to hurt Trump. I love you, but you are so naive and so innocent. You don't know the ones to look for. That's the guy. I love hearing stories of spies from remember the Cambridge Five, Kim Philby, even here our own. And they always were, the covers they had were fantastic. That's the guy you want. Who is going to hurt you? In your business, who is going to hurt you? The person who can write the checks. The person that has access to the bank accounts. Who is that? Them. There's no... That's my Aunt Edna. Okay, fine. Do you trust her? Oh, yeah, okay, good. But if there's going to be a problem, it's going to be from Edna. Not you, Edna, because she's in charge of that. So you're going to bring in JD Vance. That's why Wiles has to keep an eye on him. Kind of keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't get too carried away. Because the last time we saw somebody like that, it was Dick Cheney. And Dick Cheney completely changed the rules regarding that. All right, my friend. I'm going to toughen you up. We're going to take you to boot camp. I want you to be real suspicious. I want you to smile with the best of them. I want you to look the way Putin looks at him. He looks right through you. He doesn't trust you at all. We don't trust him at all. We don't trust anybody. When I say trust, it doesn't mean I don't work with him, but I'm never going to turn my back. Never. That's like when you say, forgive people. Forgive you. I never forgive people. Never. They'll never know it. But I don't absolve people. I don't say, okay, you know what? That's a pass. No. Now, what does that mean? Nothing really. I mean, I don't forgive you, so what? I'm not going to hurt you or anything. But this idea of, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Forgive? Blank slate? No. I mean, depending upon what it is. If it's a minor slight, it's not that you forgive, you just forget. It doesn't really matter. But this is a world that is so brutal. And the first person I'm going to do is I'm going to sit around, I'm going to ask myself, who is it that we should be working with? And I'm in Mearsheimer 100%. Somebody told me Vivek for Secretary of State. Oh, dear God. Mearsheimer's it's going to be Chinese containment. See, I can deal with Putin. Putin's sensible. Xi Jinping is another story. Now, you might be able to work with, it's like Tertius Gaudens, game theory, when you have three people, which is basically the way many people believe that the UK got us into World War II, which is what, from Edward VII on down. Anyway, I'm getting off into stuff. There's nothing worse than telling somebody something where they've never heard this before. And you've got to stop and say, okay, let me explain to you what that means. Everything you're seeing right now looks great. Tom Homan, that's terrific. It's behind the scenes that matter. The most powerful people in the world, in my administration, you will never know their names. It's not going to be Tucker Carlson. It's not going to be anybody you can name. Elon's there just for shadow dressing. But Elon's people is another story. Remember about Elon. What's Elon's story? Look at him. What's he about? We'll leave that for next time. Get very suspicious of everybody, my friends. That's all I'm saying. Howie Brown, thank you. Jackie Johnson, Mel Nelson A, Veronica, Johnny Maz, Spandex, Fishman, Freedom, Sideburns, and thank you so much for this. What a wonderful time we've got. But remember one thing. We have won. We have won. Stop spending any more time listening to what CNN thinks about something. I don't care about that. You're never going to hear The View. Never going to see that again. We're done. That was fun. Now we talk about how we work to fix this thing. And remember, 10% of what's important is what you're going to be hearing about. The 90% is behind the scenes, the iceberg. That's what matters. All right, dear friends, have a great time. Remember, don't forget, keep subscribing to Lionel Nation. Don't forget Mrs. L. Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. And wait to see her story about Mattel. Oh, my God. The Mattel story. And until then, tomorrow. Till then, at 8 a.m., my dear friends, remember these words. Monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dead.